I'm going to take you through 3 of the easiest ways to apply our full cover tips, and I'm going to also tell you why. So we've got glue, we've also got brush on glue, we've got sticky tabs, and we've got our fiber gel. If you're trying to do something that's very, very temporary, okay, that's going to be the sticky tabs. They're going to be something where maybe your client has an event that they're going to go to, so it's not something that they're going to keep on really more than a day. Okay, so for the sticky tabs, I'm putting in my diamond cuticle square bit, and this is going to get right up into that cuticle area. I'm going to turn my speed on to about 5,000 RPMs and just get right up into that cuticle area. Now for the different applications, we're going to prep the nail just slightly different, and I'll explain as we go. But we always still want to make sure that we get that cuticle nice and cleaned up, get all of that dead protein growth cleaned out of there. Okay, so I think we're good there. Now, when I'm doing more of a temporary set with the sticky tabs, I don't necessarily need to go through that whole prep, that whole removing all the shine. But what I do like to do is go through with my 180 grit buffer and just kind of remove any rough edges or anything like that, and just lightly remove the shine. I don't need to go in with my e-file to do that because, again, this is a temporary set. This is something that she's going to be taking off again after an event or maybe one day. So we're going to dust that nail off. Now let's talk about sizing for this nail. So she told me that normally she wears a size 6 on her pointer fingers here. And so I grabbed a size 6, and yep, it actually looks really good. So normally I would kind of think, yep, size 6 works perfect. Here's the challenge. When we put the little sticky tabs on there, the sticky tabs have a little bit of thickness to them. So it's going to add a little bit of bulk underneath there. So I'm actually going to go a little bit bigger. So we went to a size 5. And that size 5, right now, it looks like it's hanging off the edges just a little bit when I put that on there. But once we put that little sticky tab under there, it's going to kind of raise it up just a little bit. And I think that's going to be the right size to kind of fill in that space. So we're going with the size 5 on that one. Even though we didn't do a lot of filing on it, we still want to make sure to clean off any surface oils from the nail, any contaminants that are on there. Just give us a really nice clean surface for our little sticky tab to adhere to. So we're going to take our little tabs. Now we're going to take a look and see what is going to fit on her nail. She's got some teeny tiny little nails here, so I'm going to actually start by looking at some of those smaller shapes. Now that one looks like it might be okay. But I'm going to go just one size bigger because I want to get as much of that nail covered as possible with the sticky tab, but not too much so that it's hanging over the edge. So I'm going to kind of size these out, and I think this size is about right. So it's got a little tab. We're going to grab that little tab, peel that off. You can kind of hang on to that little tab at the end. Now notice I didn't put any protein bond or anything like that on it. We don't need protein bond. We just need that clean, dry surface. I'm going to stick that little tab right down onto her nail and really secure that. Get that on there really good. Kind of rub the surface of it, really get that right down onto the nail. Now, if I were doing her full set, I would go through and put the little tabs on all of her nails first, and then we're going to peel off that little plastic coating off one at a time when we're ready to put that nail on. And then we can go in and peel off that extra plastic coating, maybe. Because I have nails on and sometimes it's harder to grip, I'm going to just use our tweezer here, making sure that that sticky is all the way onto the nail, and then just start to peel away that extra plastic backing. I'm going to start with my, just kind of like we're going to do when we use our fiber gel. I'm going to start at a slight downward angle, position that right at that cuticle area, keep that nail nice and straight, and then just rock that down onto the sticky tab so it's adhered really well, and give it a press down. Okay. So it looks about right. At this point, if you want to clip them any shorter, you can clip them shorter. If you want to adjust the shape, you can adjust the shape. If you find that it is hanging off the edges just slightly, you can always come in with your file and you can kind of clean up that lower arch a little bit, straighten anything out if it needs to be straightened, or take off that extra overhang, okay? So we've got one little sticky tab on here, but that's gonna hold for a good amount of time. So it's gonna hold for her event, it's gonna hold for whatever she's doing. Now, with the sticky tabs, when you're applying the nails with the sticky tabs, you can pre-design these. So you could have gone through, done your whole gel polish application. You could have used the little stands. You could have put those nails onto the stands, pre-designed all of those nails, and then put them on with the sticky tabs, because you're not going to be worrying about curing anything underneath. So you can use whatever colors you want to, and it's going to go on just fine. Okay, so that is our first way of applying. So that is going to be our most temporary way of applying a full cover tip. Second way, we're going to talk about our glues. So we have a brush on glue, and then we have the tube glue. Depending on how you like to work, really your preference, if you feel like you have more control using the brush, you can use the brush. If you feel like you have more control using the little tube, you can use the tube. Either one is going to work just fine for this technique. So with this one, because I am using a product to adhere it, not just the little tabs, I am going to go through and I'm going to prep the surface of her nail. So I do want to make sure that I'm removing that shine, because this, using the glue, we are going to try to keep these on a little bit longer. So this application I would recommend more so for maybe a weekend event. Maybe if your client has something that is going on for the weekend, she doesn't think that she's going to be able to hang on with the little sticky tabs all weekend. She's probably not gonna, but she doesn't want them on any longer than that, okay? So we're going to prep that surface, remove the shine, and then I'm going to come through and cleanse that nail again with the swipe.
After this, would you put protein bond on?
Great question. You would not, because our tendency when we're prepping nails is to go through, remove shine, put protein bond on, and we're not going to. Oddly enough, protein bond and glue don't work well together. I don't know why, but they just don't. So this is the one time when we're doing enhancements that I'm going to recommend you don't use protein bond. So this one is, she said her nails are normally a size 5, and that's what I'm going to go with on this nail. Because this one, we're not putting really any thick product under. We're not putting those little sticky tabs. So this one, we can actually size out so that it fits flush right onto that natural nail, okay? Now, like I said, you can either use the brush on glue or you can use the tube glue. Now I want to show you, I know it sounds kind of strange, but I want to show you how to open your bottle of glue. So a lot of times people will come in, they'll take off that top part, that white top, and they'll be squeezing and nothing's coming out, and like, what is going on? So you actually have to put that part back on. You're going to unscrew this part here, and then there's a little divider ring. So you're going to take that little divider ring off. You can see that this glue hasn't been used, so it's sealed there. Now you're going to put this back on, and that little nozzle inside is going to poke open that glue, and that's where it's going to open up. Okay, so you always just want to make sure, take out that little ring from inside. You can toss that. You don't need to put it back on. And now our glue is ready to use. Okay. Now this one, it actually kind of pokes into the corners of her cuticle area. So I'm going to customize this one just a little bit. I'm going to just take down those corners to make sure that it's going to fit perfectly into her cuticle area. Okay, so that looks like it's going to fit a little bit better in there. Now you can, like I said, use your brush on glue. You can use the tube glue, whichever you prefer. If I were using the brush on glue, let me show you this trick, you guys. Make sure when you're using your brush on glue, lift your brush straight up. If you need to get rid of some of that glue, leave the bristles in the bottle and just bend them on the side like that, okay? You wanna make sure that you're not wiping that brush on the top, because as soon as you put that top back on and you seal it down, you've just glued the top on, okay? So make sure that you're not wiping glue on the top like that. Just bend the bristles inside, and that's going to help you in the long run. So personal preference, you can either use the brush on, you can use the tube glue. I'm going to use the tube today, and I'm just going to squeeze out a tiny little bit, little drop onto her nail, and you can start to kind of see it come down the nozzle. So keep an eye on what you're doing. Just going to kind of spread that through the nail, close to the sides, but I'm not going to get all the way to the sides. I'm going to leave a little bit of space for that glue to kind of squeeze out. So I'm going to start again by that cuticle area, set that down, and then just start to rock that nail down. And you'll start to kind of see that the nail adhere to the glue, and it's going to start to kind of press out any air bubbles. Now I'm going to just hold this here for a few seconds, make sure that's adhered really well, and I think we are good. Okay, so again, you guys, this is a temporary set. So I can see there is a little bit of a pucker under there. She still actually does have a little bit of gel product on there from before, so her nail wasn't perfectly smooth. It may weaken the bond a little bit, but again, it's a temporary set, okay? So we're not gonna be super concerned about it. Again, at this point, you can go through, remove your shine, apply your gel polish, do your design work, and all that good stuff. Okay, so for our third application here, this is going to be our fiber gel. So again, I'm going to size out this nail a little bit on the bigger side because we're going to be putting fiber gel underneath. And just like with our little sticky tab, it's going to take up some space underneath. Okay, so this one, again, we went with a larger size. We've pushed back our cuticles. We're going to come through and remove the shine because this is an artificial nail application. So when you're working with gel polish, when you're working with fiber gel, you always want to make sure that you are prepping this nail fully, okay? We're going to dust off her nail. We're going to use a little bit of our swipe on our manicure brush here. Give that nail a good scrub. And now we're going to use Protein Bond. This is the time where Protein Bond comes in because we are going to be applying this with a soft gel. So Kira's very excited about this. And Protein Bond is going to go on in one coat. When we're working with fiber gel, you only need that one coat. So we're going to start. I'm going to use the brush on fiber gel. You can use the one in the pot. It is a personal preference, whichever application technique is easier for you. I'm just going to take a little bit of my fiber gel and I'm going to just brush that over the nail. This is going to give give the nail a little bit of just kind of an adhesive layer is kind of how I look at it. We're going to get that into the light and we're going to cure that for a minimum of 30 seconds. So when I go to put my tip on, I have that layer already down there. So then when I put my tip on, it's going to have something to kind of bond to. So that's why I like to have that little extra layer of the fiber gel. I feel like you just get a better application and you don't get the bubbles kind of like we did with the tip or with the glue application. So this is going to really help to allow the base layer to adhere to the next layer on top. Okay, so we're going to take out her hand. When you are working with fiber gel and you're applying a full cover tip, it is absolutely necessary to remove the shine from the well. That shiny surface is not going to adhere to your gel, so as soon as you put that on, it's going to have a tendency to just peel right off. So make sure that you're using your electric file here, and we're going to remove that shine from the whole well so that our nail really adheres well with that fiber gel. Okay, now we're going to come in with our fiber gel, and again, you could either apply your next coat directly to the nail. What I like to do is just kind of scrape that off into the well of the tip and then just kind of brush it through. I don't brush it all the way to the end of where it's going to apply because some of that, as I'm rocking that tip on, some of that fiber gel is going to push forward and I don't want it to squeeze out the end. We have our fiber gel on the well of our tip. I'm going to bring in my little curing lamp here. I'm going to kind of adjust that. So you're going to apply your tip, get the light on there. We're going to freeze that into place and then she's going to be able to put that into the light. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to turn the light on. I'm going to touch that nail down to her cuticle area, rock that onto the nail until that gel comes right to the end. We're going to carefully move under the light and we're going to hold that for about 5 to 10 seconds, just enough to give that gel a little bit of time to start to set. And we're good there. Okay, so now she's going to put that fully into the light and we're going to cure that for a full 60 seconds. That way it's going to cure it all the way through. Because if we didn't have this light, there is no way I can hold that tip and get her under the light without it shifting or popping or anything like that. So if you are using the fiber gel to adhere the full cover tips, this little mini curing light is crucial. All right, so at this point, this nail is cured. You want to make sure if you did get any product that did squeeze out underneath, make sure to separate that under there. If you feel like you need to, if any of that fiber gel did squeeze out, you can use a little bit of our Manicure Cleanse and come around underneath there, get underneath there, or even around those sides. Hopefully you didn't have any product squeeze out on those sides, but just in case, it's best to clean that just to make sure that you don't leave any tacky uncured gel around the edges. Okay, same thing if it may need a little bit of adjusting with the shape or with those sidewalls hanging over or anything, you can definitely go through and do that. Again, with any of these, if you are going to do your designs over the top, go through, remove the shine, and then you can go right into your gel polish application or your design work. So just to kind of recap, again, if we're using something that's very temporary, maybe just for one day or an event, you can use the sticky tabs. You can pre-design those nails. The clients can also put them on themselves if you're doing that kind of a procedure. If you want something a little bit more permanent, but maybe just like for a weekend or maybe a couple of days, that's where I would use the glue application. If you're wanting something definitely more permanent that she's going to wear for a vacation, wear for a couple of weeks, that's when I would go into the fiber gel. So hopefully this clears up some of the questions about when to use certain applications for the full cover tips, why we would do that, and hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video.